What's up YouTube? How you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. So we're gonna get right into this one. This is gonna be a high fade classic comb over with a hard part, right? So we're starting off with our number 2 guard and we're clearing off bulk right now. We're just gonna go around the whole head, give us enough room into the occipital or into the parietal ridge, my bad. So we have enough room to clip over comb. Now with our trimmer, we're going to go ahead and set in our bald guideline, following that same pattern that we did with the number 2 guard. Start from the bottom of his vertical bar and we're dropping it back as we get towards his occipital bone and matching it to the other side. After that, make sure to clean off your client, make sure to dust them off so they're nice and clean and they feel comfortable in your chair. So this is pretty much going to be the rough draft, so everything's not perfect right now. We're going to set in our next guideline, which is no guard with the blade completely open, and we're going up about an inch or a finger's width, and we're going to follow that all the way through. And this is all going to be the rough draft, so you know it's not going to be perfect. We can come back and detail everything. We're just getting the rough draft in so we can see the structure and how the fade's going to turn out and how the whole haircut's going to play out throughout the haircut. Now we're going to have our 1 guard completely open and we're going to follow right under that 2 guard. We're going pretty much up to where that 2 guard is because later on we're going to clip over comb and that's going to blend right into it. And we're going to go through this side with the blade completely open, and then we're going to close it down and follow up right under that. And like I say, this never really removes that line. This is just lining it up, so later on when we come back with our 0 guard, it's going to blend in right with that no guard blade open, so then you have an even blend. And I am using my double magnetic guards by Andis. The clipper is a wall clipper, but filthy blends. He actually came out with a mod where he put the Andis master blade, the taper blade, on there so I could put my double magnetic guards on my wall. I'll have the link down below if you guys want to purchase your own. Highly recommend. Right here we're going to go ahead and use our clip over comb, and as you can tell we're scooping in and we're removing that extra weight, and this is going to create that shape, that nice square shape, so when you're looking at him straight on you see the structure of his fade, and this is what brings out all that together. So like I said, this is the rough draft. I like to do this because I can see the structure, and after that I'll come back and I'll detail and I'll finish out the fade. Also, it's better to take less hair at a time, see how the hair reacts as you're doing the clipper over comb, and then come back. So go ahead and push down the hair, clipper over combed, step back, see how it looks, and then proceed. So now that we got the structure down, I went ahead and back with no guard on there, and I'm making sure that line is nice and even and it's symmetrical and consistent to the bald guideline. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put all the lines in. So we're putting the hard part in. He previously already had a hard part. Didn't really like where they had it or how they did the hard part because there's a lot of hairs sticking up. So we're trying to make it as clean as possible. Just go in there, create that first, dab in there, comb the hair apart, and then go back in there and keep doing that slowly. Don't rush in there. Don't make it too thick. Just make a nice thin line. Later on we'll come back with our straight razor to really define that line. Now we're back with that 2 guard just to remove any dark spots or any weight from the clipper over comb to the last guard that we used, which was the one open to close. And after that, we'll follow up with our 0 guard, which will bring the whole fade together, and then we'll remove that bald line at the very end. So right here we have our 0 guard, completely open. As you can tell, I'm flicking up and into the head, keeping it flat on the head. I'm not digging in. The taper blade really helps with this because it keeps the flesh on the head. Really highly recommend the clipper. But we're going to be moving
I don't
lever
say evasion, I say avoidance.
I just go from open, halfway, and then closed. And you can see the blade is coming together. Now we have that ball guideline, which we'll be removing later. We have the fade pretty much done. All we have is that bald guideline. I'm going to go ahead and use my shaver to bald them out, get that nice and close to the skin, and then all we have to do is attack that bald guideline and then do some detail work to make sure everything is flawless. And what comes with removing this bald guideline, it's the same steps. We go clipper all the way open just to test and see, you know, how much that's going to cut, and then halfway, and then completely closed. And make sure when you're removing that ball guideline, when you have it completely closed, you're pushing up. You want to go up a good 1/4 of an inch, and after that, open up the blade halfway, open up a little bit more, and then that should blend everything together. And if you do go a little too high, it's okay. Just grab your next guard, which is the 0 guard, and then go from open to close. It's always better to start open because it's safer and you can really test the waters, and then close down as you need. As the head turns around towards the back, it's always a little bit more dense, so that's why I went with my trimmers and removed that line that I saw there faintly. But all you're doing is really lining up areas that need to be lighter and keeping areas that need to be dark. So it's all a shading game. So, you know, you might have to use a guard somewhere different. So, you know, you might be using the no guard in the back, but you might be using the 0 guard on the side to get the hair to look a certain way, to manipulate it so it looks all even throughout the whole head. Now I go to my favorite technique, which is scissor over comb, really lightening up those areas and removing any weight.
It's another witty beat.
When it comes to comb overs, I really like to push the front hair away and then move the hairs that need to go back or to the side, and then clip over comb that so that the front length is long enough to slick back and over, but the sides are tight enough so it doesn't get all in the way. So now we're just gonna give the top a little trim. So this is a basic trim, just making sure, he just wanted to make sure everything was even. So I start with the front, pull it up, trimmed a little bit, and then follow that same guideline all the way back. You always want to make sure the front's the longest, so make sure you pull that really high before you cut, and then follow that same way back, because the front of the head is lower than the apex, which is the top of the head. The top of the head is always the highest part of the head. And now we're just going to connect that to the side right there that we clip over combed to make sure that when the hair is combed over, it sits right in place. Right here, we're just cross-checking our work, so we're taking vertical sections and just making sure everything's nice and even. always good to double check your work. I'll move on to the beard. He wanted his beard just to cut down to a number 2. Pretty simple. This won't be anything too crazy. And then I'm going to show you guys a little expert trick once you guys feel ballsy enough to do to blend in those sideburns into the beard. If you're a little bit behind on time, or you're trying to pick up time because you're behind, or you took a walk in and you want to really bust them out really quick, this technique will help out. So for the neckline, I started on the top, right under his jawline, and I'm dipping it lower as I get towards his Adam's apple. I'm using my P3 blade on my absolute hitters, and what this is going to do is really outline his jawline, give him structure to his face. I like to always start, especially in a short beard, up tight on his jawline and then bring it closer or lower towards his Adam's apple. And the same thing on the other side. Step back, look at it, make sure it's even. If it's not even, see what you need to fix, and then go from there.
It's another witty beat.
Alright, so this is what I was talking about. So I flip the trimmer over and I'm going in and scooping out as I get lower. And what this is going to do is fade out that beard perfectly into that long hair, which was a number 2 guard. And then flip it back over and then remove that bald guideline that you put in with the shaver. And then if it doesn't come out perfectly, some people's beard are different, just go back, grab that half guard or 1 guard and just do a little bit of detail. But you're just going to flip it over, flick out until it finally blends in. See right here, it wasn't blending too good on this side, so I grabbed my 0 guard, did a little detail, and boom. Took me no more than 20 seconds to do both sides. Now we're just going to go ahead and razor that beard in. I'm using my Turkish razor. We are completely sold out currently, but we got some new colors coming in that should be in probably this week as this video is going to be uploaded. So make sure to check out the website if you do want to grab your Turkish razor. We got 3 new colors. One's going to be matte blue. We got a black one with a pattern design on there. And then we have a special edition. Lakers Kobe Bryant has been a big inspiration in my life, so I went ahead and came out with a Laker camo edition. So I think that was gonna be super dope. It's gonna be limited, so make sure to check it out if you want. But now we're gonna go ahead and line up the lip. Super simple. Since the beard's so short, we're just lining up, making sure nothing's on his lip, and keeping it nice and natural. Now we're gonna apply a little bit of product. I believe this is my pomade, or it might have been a matte clay. But we're just gonna go and put it in the hair, and then we're gonna go and comb it to the direction that he wants. Now we go ahead and use our fishtail comb to evenly distribute the hair product so it's sitting there nicely. I always like to go with the thin side or the fine tooth side to evenly distribute it, and then I'll go ahead and use the wide tooth to pick everything up and give that textured and direction in his hair. And that's the cut, YouTube. Hope you guys like that. That's a high fade with a classic comb over with a hard part. Hope you guys learned something new. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. Really appreciate it. We're growing. We're about to hit 30,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.